I'm already on a course page and I've started to add some content. Now I want to add a SCORM module, which is an interactive e-learning module I've created in a separate authoring tool. One of the great things about SCORM is that it tracks user activity, such as completion and score, back to the course in Total-Learn. To add the activity, I need to turn editing on, and I'll add my activity to the second topic. This panel shows you all the different types of activities you can add. There's quite a few. Each activity is added in a similar way, although it will have its own unique settings too. So I'll add a SCORM package. I'll give my activity a name, which will appear as a link on the course page. I can also enter a description, which I can choose to display on the course page if I want to. When it comes to adding the SCORM file, you can either choose to add it by selecting Upload a file, and then you can choose the file, or you can simply drag and drop it onto the page. There are quite a few settings I can choose from, so let's look at them in more detail. You can decide how the SCORM package will display. For example, you can choose to open it in a current window, which means the SCORM package will display on the course page, or in a new window. Site administrators are able to make some settings advanced, which means that course managers will need to select Show More to see all the settings available to them. For example, my site is set up so that after I select Show More, I'll see further options to define the size of the new window that will open. In the Academy, we display SCORM packages using New Window Simple, which will open a new tab, so if you'd like to replicate our user experience, use this setting. Another setting under Appearance is whether or not to display the activity name on the course page. You can also choose to include a content page on the SCORM player by selecting Yes on Display Course Structure on Entry page. I can decide to time limit the activity and choose the grading method, for example, whether to always use the highest grade or the average of all attempts. I can say how many times a learner can attempt the activity and whether to lock it afterwards. I can also decide whether to allow the learner to return to an attempt at any time. If Force New Attempt is set to No, then the learner is able to return to the same attempt. However, the learner is unable to start a new attempt unless the previous attempt has been set as completed, passed, or failed. Let's now take a look at the compatibility settings. If Force Completed is enabled, this will result in the SCORM status being marked as complete, even if a learner logs out without completing the activity. The next time the learner logs in and starts the activity again, this will count as the learner's second attempt. If Force Completed is not enabled, then when a learner logs out halfway through completing a SCORM activity, then the learner will remain on their first attempt the next time they start the activity. Auto Continue allows learning objects to be launched automatically. If this is disabled, then learners will need to use a Continue button to start the next section in a SCORM. Typically, a SCORM package is set up so that it dictates when Total-Learn should save data to the database. When Auto Commit is enabled, every time the SCORM sends data to the LMS saves the data to the database without waiting for the SCORM to explicitly tell it to save. This could be useful for SCORM objects which do not save their data regularly. When a SCORM package runs, it should display a raw score and a completion status. SCORM can also use an additional mastery score that is an additional benchmark which is used to compute the final status for the SCORM package. If mastery score override status is enabled, it will ignore any other statuses provided by the system, including incomplete. The Common Module settings applies to all activities and not just the SCORM activity. An important common setting to highlight is the Visible setting. This setting indicates whether the SCORM activity appears in the course for learners. Course creators may wish to hide the SCORM activity because a newer version of the SCORM activity has been created, and the course creator would like learners to start using the new version of the activity. Hiding the old activity allows course creators to not lose any of the grades and scores of past learners who took the activity. You can also choose to restrict access to the SCORM package based on certain conditions, such as whether the learner is a member of an audience in the system, or if the learner has completed another activity. Restrict Access is a powerful tool that will allow you to guide users through your course and ensure the right learners are taking elements of your course at the right time. Another key setting is activity completion. Here I can decide how this activity is completed and decide the criteria for completion. For example, you could choose to set the activity to only complete once certain conditions are met, such as whether the student is required to achieve a certain grade on the activity to pass. Remember, it's likely that the person developing the SCORM activity will have entered certain criteria, such as a passing grade on the authoring tool, so adding a different grade here may result in a conflict. I'm going to say that learners must receive a pass status from the SCORM activity. If I save my changes, we can now see the SCORM activity and my description on the course page. Another way to add a SCORM activity to a course page, and a time-saving way if you're confident of how the default SCORM settings are set up, is to simply turn editing on and then drag and drop it on the course where you'd like the activity to appear. Choose to add this as a SCORM package and then select Upload, and the package will have been uploaded to the course. In this video, we've looked at how to upload a new SCORM activity and reviewed the main settings available to course creators in Toto Learn. Why not have a go at adding your own SCORM activity now?